record to the cloud. Meeting being recorded. Well, the truth about a mirror is that a damned old mirror don't really tell the whole truth. It doesn't show what's deep inside, nor read between the lines. And it's really no reflection of my youth. Now, I don't know if George Strait had me in mind when he sang that song, but if I had to sum up my early years, that verse nailed it. My name is Andy Nelson. I've been a failure. I've been a quitter, I've been a liar, and I've been an imposter. See, here's the truth. The person you see standing before you today, this wasn't always me. You see, if my life were a mirror back then, the cracks would have been obvious. My reflection completely distorted, scratched up, maybe even shattered. And if I'm being really honest with you, I almost let that be the story. I almost quit. I almost let the failures and the doubts and the setbacks define me. But the thing about a mirror, it only shows you what you focus on. And when I stopped staring at the cracks and started looking at what was possible, everything changed. Anyone here ever felt like they were failing? Like you weren't enough? Like no matter what you did, the reflection looking back at you just was not who you wanted to be? Yeah, me too. And that's why we're here today. Because if you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever doubted yourself, or looked in that mirror and thought there has to be more than this, then you're in the right room. Because today, we're going to stop staring at what is broken. We're going to stop looking at where we fell short. We're going to stop letting a cracked mirror define what we're capable of. And instead, we're going to take a hard look at what's possible. Because there's a formula. There's a proven path that takes you from where you are today to the life you've always wanted. It's called the Live Unreal Formula. And by the time we're done here today, you won't just understand it, you will be ready to live it. Can I hear you? Who's ready to live an unreal life? Now, before we jump in, let me properly introduce myself. See, I grew up in a small tobacco town in North Carolina. One of those places where everyone knows everyone and no one locks their doors. It was kind of like you either worked in the factory or you worked on the farm. And the only things we're really known for are high school football, which they are really good. And President Obama once hated one of our local barbecue joints. That's it. All right. My father was a truck driver, and yes, my mom did work in the local factory. We got by just fine. I don't have one of those rags to riches, hit rock bottom, childhood trauma stories, no overcoming crazy odds. I was just a normal kid, the youngest of 5. And I wanted to be a baseball player. I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. That was the plan. That was the only plan. But I wasn't good enough. I failed. I didn't make it to the MLB. I got kicked out of college. And at 21 years old, I looked around that small town and realized there was nothing left for me there. My two friends that I shared a house with at 21 years old are now both dead, died in their 30s. They never left that small town. I had two choices when I looked around: stay and end up like that, or leave and see what else was out there. So I did the best thing I could think of. I joined the United States Navy. Now, I wish I could stand here and tell you that the Navy turned me into this incredible person overnight, that I instantly became a leader and a success story, like a guy with a mission. Hey, Admiral McRaven, I was not. Life doesn't work like that. Instead, I had a child, got thrown into Navy jail, was forced to work 2, 3 jobs at any given time just to make ends meet while serving our country. I had to work 2 to 3 extra jobs to make ends meet. One of those jobs was a side gig working for a contractor who was flipping houses for a local realtor and lender team who were investors. And every Friday, like clockwork, Carl, the realtor, would stop by in his white BMW and his nice slacks, and he would drop off a check while he walked the job site. Finally, one day, I worked up the nerve and I approached him and I said, Carl, I want to do what it is that you do. And he said, get your real estate license and I'll teach you. Now, I don't mean to downplay the fact that I was doing drywall or electrical or plumbing or flooring or painting. I love all those things, and there's no shame in any of those careers. It's just not what I envisioned for myself. So at the end of 2011, myself, along with Mike Little, my business partner now, we went to real estate school together at night. We were both serving on active duty Navy during the day. Went to real estate school at night. We got our license together in November of 2011. And as a matter of fact, the first day that my license went active, I put my first home under contract. We know it doesn't really happen like that, but in this case, it actually did. My first full year in real estate, I made $106,000. I thought I had it figured out. I thought I had it all figured out. Thought I had made it. And then life happened. I went through a breakup. My son moved away. And suddenly that money, that career, didn't feel like success anymore. In fact, it didn't feel like anything. So you know what I did? I quit. I packed up my bags. I broke the lease on my apartment, sold all of my furniture except my bedroom set, and I moved away from Virginia back home to North Carolina. To top it off, I left real estate to go work in a pizza shop. Now, let me be clear. I love pizza. I love pizza. It's my favorite food in the world. In fact, my wife and I met while I was working at that pizza shop, so I'm thankful for the opportunity that I had to work there. But the day before my 30th birthday, I was fired. Failed again. After that, I took a job cold calling all of you. If you think cold calling an expired or for sale by owner is hard, try picking up the phone and cold calling a room of real estate agents. It's impossible. And yet within 3 months, I was the top ISA in the company and decided that I needed to get back into real estate because I missed it so much. I got hired as a sales and marketing director in 2015 for a large team in North Carolina on a contract position. Things went great. 12 months went by. Contract was not renewed. Once again, out of work. Once again, no more real estate. From there, I tried my hand at sales again. It lasted 4 months before I had to pack it in and go get another job. That job was at a factory making boxes. Literally making boxes. The Amazon box that's on your counter at home, yeah, that company probably made it. Probably boxes in every one of your homes all across America. $16 an hour. and went from $106,000 at 24 years old to 32, making 16 bucks an hour. Working my way up through that company from 2017 to 2019, I had made my way to a marketing manager. And I thought I had it figured out. I finished my master's degree. I married my beautiful wife, Stephanie. We bought a home together. I thought, okay, this is it. And then in March of 2020, a global pandemic struck the world and impacted the lives of everyone in it. Now, while most people have a negative connotation around the way that COVID impacted their life, my family was different. COVID changed the trajectory of my family's life forever. For the generations of Nelsons to come, changed forever. See, in July of 2020, my best friend, Mike, decided to open a real estate brokerage. I lived 4 hours away. I wouldn't miss it for the world. My son and I got in my car. We drove 4 hours that morning to be there for that grand opening party. They had one location and 19 agents. And when I walked in that room, I felt an energy that I had missed and longed for. I drove back home that night and told my wife I was getting into real estate. She said, okay. She said, okay. Do you hear that? For the third time, she supported me chasing this dream. The door was slamming in my face, and I kept knocking, and she was standing there with me, knocking alongside me. So 45 days later, I packed up and moved to Virginia. Now, when I say that, my family stayed in North Carolina, 250 miles, a 4-hour drive away, in the home that we had just purchased in 2019, shortly before COVID happened. Less than a year later, I packed up and moved into Mike's spare bedroom in Virginia Beach, 4 hours away. And I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna go try to make some extra money until the company calls us back to work, right? Because we knew we were all coming back to the office eventually. First 90 days, I sold 16 houses to finish out 2020. And I quickly realized I didn't want to make boxes anymore. Real estate is where I needed to be. 2021, I closed 69 transactions. I attended my first Glover U conference, quit my job, and hired an assistant. Just 4 years ago, I sat in this audience the first time, like many of you today, and I listened to this formula, and it changed my life. 2022, 69 units again. But this time I wasn't just selling houses. I had become a partner in the brokerage with Mike and the rest of the guys. That little office with 19 agents has now grown to 7 locations, over 350 agents. We're the #2 brand in our market. Soon to be #1. I own a title company. I'm a Glover U coach. And up until this year, I had been a solo agent in production. And in February, I started a team. Today, I stand here. Unreal. So my name is Andy. And despite what I've just told you, I am not a failure. I am not a quitter. I'm not an imposter. I am proof. I am proof. Proof that no matter how many times you get knocked down, that no matter how many times you doubt yourself, no matter how many times you stare into that damned old mirror and don't like what you see, I am proof that you can change the reflection and you can live unreal. Now, before we dive into the formula, let me ask you a question. What does it actually mean to live an unreal life? I mean, we throw that phrase around a lot, right? You see it on shirts, live unreal. You see it on social media, living my best life. We hear it in the conversation, man, that would be unreal. But what does it really mean? What does it take to turn your story into something so extraordinary, so unbelievable that people talk about it long after you're gone. That's exactly what this formula is about. So let's break it down. Unreal. The definition of unreal is the definition. The mission of Glover U is to impact millions to live their most unreal life. And by definition, an unreal life is a life so amazing, it's almost unbelievable. Write that down. The definition of an unreal life is a life so amazing, it's almost unbelievable. That's it. A life so amazing, you almost cannot believe it's yours. And that's exactly what we're here to build. But here's the deal. Most people, they settle. They work a job that they tolerate. They stay in relationships that drain them. They make just enough to get by. And somewhere along the way, they convince themselves that this is just how it is. That's where the Live Unreal formula comes in. Because this isn't just some feel-good motivational hype. This is a blueprint. This is a step-by-step process that if you follow it, it will change your life. And I know this because it changed mine. There was a time when I thought living unreal was a joke. And I thought it was just something that successful people said to make themselves feel better. See, I didn't grow up with a roadmap for success. I wasn't handed a golden ticket. I had to figure it out the hard way. And I struggled, man. I doubted and I failed a lot. But in 2021, I found this formula. And it's not a magic pill by any means. No, no, no. It's not a shortcut. It is a real structured formula that forced me to get clear about what I wanted, build a plan to get there, and take action, even when I didn't feel ready. And it worked. That's why I'm so passionate about this, because the Live Unreal formula is not just theory, it's real. And Glover U wants to help you live your most unreal life. That's why we're here today. So the moment you stop treating success like a maybe and start treating it like a decision, everything changes. Your unreal life is built decision by decision by decision and with intention. So if you're ready to stop settling, if you're ready to stop making excuses, if you're ready to start designing a life so amazing that it's almost unbelievable, then turn to a clean sheet of paper.